Hello, everyone. I am Golden Duffy, and this is Live Life Golden. And this is our episode on how to get unstuck. You are never stuck. So, we're going to go through the energies of feeling stuck and what believing that you are stuck and conducting from stuck energy actually activates and actually keeps you stuck, right? Because what we believe is what we create. So if you've been feeling stuck for a while, if you've been feeling like life is not moving, the truth is that's false. That's a total lie. And it's something that you have just been conducting energy around, and that's why you've been creating it. But it doesn't have to be true. We actually are never stuck. And the times in our life when we feel like there's some like not a lot is going on, or we've been, we're not called to a lot and we don't feel a lot of life force coming through. And maybe we're doing the same things over and over again every day. The truth of that kind of stuckness is really just our own creations. Like we're creating that by getting up every day and doing the same thing and not calling life through us. We're conducting from that energy. And if you have a 9-to-5 job and you have this belief that you're too exhausted to do anything else and, there's nothing to do, if you have all of those beliefs, that's why you're creating from that. There is always something different we can do. There's a different way to work we can take. There's a different breakfast we can eat. There's a different type of clothes we can wear. There's always something different we can do to activate more energy. Okay. We can greet people in a different way. We can go to work with a different attitude, with a different energy. There is always a possibility of something new when you believe that, and when you start creating from it because you start activating from it. All right. So this is what stuck energy actually does that keeps you from manifesting. So when you feel stuck and when you believe you're stuck, you actually kind of keep yourself in a little box. And that little box actually conducts energy that is blocking. It's stagnant energy. It's very, very slow, and it doesn't allow for blessings to come. It doesn't allow for that creation, that co-creation with the universe, because we're not calling the universe to anything. We're not inviting the universe to create with us when we're feeling stuck. Okay. And I want to get into today, like the science of the quantum physics, because I've studied the science of this for a while, and there's certain, um, there's certain what is the word I'm looking for? There are certain experiments that were conducted by scientists. Don't I sound smart when I stutter like that? Hey, I'm human, people, and I don't do editing. So here we go. Okay, so there was a scientific experiment done by 2 different scientists. And this was a long time ago. It was in Denmark. I don't know the details on it, but this is what I took from it. So both scientists wanted to prove their point. One scientist believed that energy came out in waves, right? And the second scientist wanted to prove that energy came out in particles. And what happened in both of those experiments is the one scientist who believed it came out in waves proved that it came out in waves. And the other scientist who believed it came out in particles proved that it came out in particles. So that shows that what you believe is what you create, because they both believed in their own experiment what it was going to show them. They actually created it. So energy can become waves or it can become particles depending on your belief system. So I have a really good example of this in my own life recently. This was so interesting. And you guys know that I love watching the conduction of energy, and I love watching what I do and how I create. It is so fascinating to me. And this little experiment that I did that I didn't even know I was doing, but afterwards I, always look back to what happened and why it happened. And that's where I get a lot of my answers, and that's where I get a lot of stuff to teach from. It's awareness, right? Reflection, awareness, that stuff will give you big time information about how you are creating, and your outside world is going to tell you what you are conducting from. So I had a body fat competition at my gym. I go to this fantastic gym that I totally manifested, by the way. I'm going to just talk about my gym for a second. And if you're in Orange County, you should come to this gym. It's fantastic. So I joined this gym back in January. I had found this man on Facebook. No idea how we became friends, but we became friends. And then he was on an episode of Below the Deck, which is like some silly reality show that I was watching at the time, which is like people that work on yachts. I just love luxury. I love watching people that are doing fantastic things. So I watched this show and he was on the show and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that show. So I tuned into the episode that he was on. And in that episode, there was a woman, actually, it's one of the Orange County housewives who invited him to go on the boat with her, had a Beachbody shirt on. She had this shirt on that was like from a gym. And I was looking at the time for a trainer, right? Like I was in the expectation of finding a new trainer because I felt like I had worked out for a couple of years at home and I was feeling like tapped out with that. Like I was feeling like I had gained some weight because I wasn't working out as hard as I could have because I was home and I was giving up and my diet wasn't right and all sorts of factors. Like I followed this program and it actually made me gain weight and it was a nightmare. So I started looking for trainers. So I noticed this Beachbody shirt and I messaged him and I noticed that he lived in my area. So I was like, how cool is that? So I messaged him and I said, hey, do you train? And he says, as a matter of fact, I do. He's like, his gym was 15 minutes down the street from my house. He's like, come and try a workout class out. Now, this was like super getting out of my comfort zone because I knew that it was an intense workout. And I knew that I hadn't been calling myself to those intense workouts. So it was a lot for me to like get out there and do it. Like I had to leap some hurdles and some fear and just go, I'm just going to do this. I'm feeling called to this. I'm just going to do it. And I'm not going to let my mind or my fears get in the way. So I go to the gym and my whole intention of going to this gym was to steal his workouts. It totally was. So I was going to go there. I was going to write down all the workouts, take pictures of all the workouts, and then I was going to do them at home so that I would only have to join the gym for like a month, right? Crazy. So I go there, I meet him. He's pretty fantastic, I have to say. He's one of my absolute favorite people right now. And he's made a huge difference in my life this last year. I got through this last year in such a significant way and making more friends, of creating better health, of more confidence, all this stuff because I met this man and because of the influence he's had on my life, the impact. So I go to the gym, I work out, is really freaking hard, really hard. And a lot of the people there are younger than me, which also was a belief system that I shifted this past year. And I'll tell you how I did that because I am 48 years old. So I start working out, super sore, like so sore, whatever, just keep going, just keep going. And then he tells me, oh, I'm actually opening a new gym in Irvine, which is like 20 minutes from my house. I'm kind of a little bummed out about that because I don't want to drive further. So I'm like, okay. And then when he launches that program, when he launches that gym, I'm like the first one on it. I know that I need to be a part of this. I'm feeling so good. I'm losing weight. I'm gaining muscle, the whole thing. So I'm the first one to sign up for this new gym. And it is, it's a good price. It's a great price. It's me saying yes to myself, to my body, to my health. It's saying yes to my health. Like how many times do we spend money on crap that's not good for our health? You know, how many times do we do that? Going out to eat or going out for ice cream or spending money on alcohol. Like how many times do we do that? And this is like saying yes to my health in something that has completely transformed my entire life, from the way I walk around to the way I get out of bed to the way I feel about myself. And it's amazing. Okay. So I join this new gym and I start working out and I'm doing great. And the workouts are really hard. And this is the year of like, he's supposed to open like April 1st of COVID, right? Like he's supposed to launch right when they start closing gyms down. Well, when you have a very strong resolve and you believe in what you're doing and you believe in health, right? Your expectation of health, you do things that most people wouldn't do because they would be fearful. And this man was never fearful. And he just foraged forward and found ways for us to work out. And there was a small group of us. There's much larger groups now. And through the course of this year, I have worked out almost every single day. I have created phenomenal health, and I have made more friends and had more fun in this last year than I ever should have, right? Considering what was going on in the world. But that was my intention. That was my frequency. That was my alignment, right? My alignment was not to stay home and suffer and be in fear and not see people. That I've never aligned with that in my life. That's not health to me. So through the course of the year, we get to like October. Let's see, October. Okay, no, January. So we get to this January, and he launches a body fat competition. Now, I've lost some weight. I've gained some muscle. I'm doing well. I feel good, but I'm not where I want to be, right? Like I have goals and I'm not where I want to be. So he launches this body fat competition. I'm like, I'm totally in. It's like $100, and there's prizes to win because it's a pool and everybody puts in. So through the course of 8 weeks, we're in this body fat competition, and I'm working as hard as I possibly can. I'm tracking my food, and I'm losing. Okay. Now remember, my belief system in the beginning of this, joining this gym and stuff, and through the course of this last year, and the course of probably the last 7 years, is that I'm over 40 and it's hard to lose weight. Like women, we got to stop telling ourselves this bullshit story. And it's true that it may get harder because of certain factors, but there's always a scientific way. There's always a formula. There's always a scientific formula to everything. So once you get the formula, there wouldn't be people in shape in their 60s, 70s, and 80s if this was true for everyone. Okay, so I had to let that go. It took me a year to let this go. It took me a year of him working on me to let this go. So I put the formula in place. I'm tracking my food. I'm working out. I'm doing all of the right things. And I have more progress in that 2 months than I did in this last year. But I will say I had momentum, right? I had the workouts down. I was motivated. I had muscle gains already. So this was just putting the food in place. If you are looking to lose weight, I'm telling you, food is like 90% of it. So I put it all in place, and I'm excited to win, right? Now, I have a lot of friends at this gym, people that I adore. And there's this one girl who I absolutely love. And I said to myself, like we're almost to the end. And I think to myself, I don't want to win. All of a sudden, I'm like, I don't want to win, because everybody doesn't always like the winner. And they already look at my life and think it's fantastic. Right? So I started to back away from wanting to win because I wanted this other girl to win, because she needs the money and it would be great for her self-esteem and all the reasons that I empathically picked up on that she needed to win. So like 2 weeks before, I dropped my I want to win, and I'm okay with just coming in second, right? Okay. This is the craziest thing that happened. That girl did not win. The winner actually was someone who came out of left field, who I also love. She's also a very dear friend of mine, and I was so psyched that she won. But this is the interesting thing about it. She told me that she wasn't even going to weigh in the last weigh-in because she thought she lost. Now, I have to step back and think to myself, if I had kept on with my very strong intention of winning, would she have weighed in? Maybe not, because I would have been the winner, right? I also have to say, the whole dropping the winning thing too was a little bit of dropping ego for me and just being like, it's okay. I accept what happens. And I'm going to be super happy with it. And I was super happy with it. Second place was great. And the cool thing that second place gave me, we're in a body fat competition again. So we took a month off and now we're back at it. It gave me the excitement of doing it again and going for first again. And now watching the energy of having full focused attention on winning is pretty exciting. So what happened in this body fat competition was very interesting. So this whole time, my trainer has been telling me, so I've been working with 2 trainers. So I work with the guy who owns the gym and then another trainer there. She's been doing my food plans for me because my trainer, the guy who owns the gym, believes in a very low carb diet. And I had this belief that I could not do low carb, that it just wrecks me, right? So interesting. So the first time I tried to do low carb, I actually had COVID. Yes, I had COVID. I survived. It was really a bad cold. I couldn't taste anything or smell. I couldn't smell anything for a long time, probably like 6 weeks. And I couldn't taste anything for like a good 4 weeks. I had a migraine for like 6 days, and I was never laid out. I took naps. I never got a fever. I was never laid out. And yes, I did stay home because I had a feeling that I had it. But I did work out. I exercised through the whole thing because we were in the middle of that body fat competition. So I tried to do the low carb thing then. And because of the migraines of COVID, I thought it was a migraine from low carb. So that was one thing that happened. The other time that I tried to do really low carb, I was detoxing. I was doing a detox. So detoxing sugar, caffeine, all this stuff. So I had a really bad headache. So I'm looking at all these beliefs. And the other day I had a talk with him and I'm like, okay, it's 3 weeks. We got 3 weeks to go. I know there's a big competitor for me out there. So what can I do? And he's like, you got it. You do this and this will work. And I started it on Saturday and I feel so great. And I'm dropping. Now I'm dropping. And now I'm like winning. I'm winning, right? So I realized that I did this protein thing a few years ago and it worked really well for me and I had a lot of energy and I felt really good. So I shifted my mindset to this being really good for me, and boom, it's being really good for me. So we always create from whatever we are doing, we are creating at that time. So pay attention to how you are creating. Your outside world will tell you all the time how you're creating. So that was a really cool experiment that I did that I realized afterwards how cool that was. How are you feeling stuck? So if you're feeling stuck in a situation, let's say you're stuck in a job, and let's say your job is your way of taking care of your family, okay? And you've been doing it for a really long time, and you're good at it, and you make good money at it. And if you don't do it, you're going to be homeless. Okay, so the job can't go right now, right? But instead of being so stuck in this job, and believing so wholeheartedly that this is the only way that you can make money, you have to start opening up your field. So by opening up your field, you have to start asking questions. You have to invite that universal energy in to start co-creating with you by saying things and writing things down and thinking things like, what could I do? If I wasn't going to do this job, what can I do? Like, where is the possibility? What do I love to do? That's such a great question. There is so many avenues of making money right now. It is like it's never been before. So if you can find something that you love, that you are passionate about, that's where all of your abundance is. And you don't have to quit your job to find it, and you don't have to quit your job to start creating a revenue from it. I just wrote down everything that I was looking for. So I've been looking into monetizing and, growing my following on my podcast and creating a business around this. Now I've made money. I've made money through the last 6 years, 7, 8 years, doing law of attraction coaching, speaking, and, writing my books and all of that stuff. I've made money. But it's not the kind of money that has changed my life. And that's what I want. I want to change my family's life. I want to change my husband's life. I want to create enough of an income where we are just free, right? Don't we all want that freedom? So I've been looking into different things, and this is so great. I actually was on a call and I went on this webinar about monetizing and stuff. And I was going to sign up with these people. It was a significant amount of money. And I applied for this PayPal credit thing so that I could, work it through my business and not have it be like, something that came out of our household stuff. And it wouldn't go through. So I got this PayPal thing and it wouldn't go through. And I was like, that's interesting. So it was going to take a couple of days for it to work or whatever. So I just took a couple of days. Now the energy will always tell you what the next step is. So that block meant something to me. It was like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. So I took time, I meditated, I looked for signs, and a couple of things came to me that made me feel like this isn't the right people to team up with. And boom, I decided not to do it. And it was so right. It was such a right decision because a couple things happened that would have messed with. And I even did an energy session with somebody who said, yeah, that was not going to be good. So I wrote down everything I was looking for, that I was looking for this particular person and they were going to help me and they were going to help me do the ads and whatever I needed to do to really grow this, because it's not necessarily all about money for me. It never has been. And that's probably why, I haven't created the income, because I'm not inauthentic. I'm not salesy. I don't give a crap if it has to be right for people. So I have that intention, that authenticity that doesn't really work in the old school sales world, right? Or in the old school sales thing that people are teaching. It just doesn't work because I don't want to take people's money and tell them that they're no good if they don't buy my stuff. Like, that doesn't feel good to me. I want to lead people to their wholeness, to their wellness, to know who they really are. And I want to do that as authentically and real as I possibly can. So I ended up writing down everything I was looking for, this particular person and how I wanted it to feel and what I want to create. And boom, something shows up. And I am so flipping excited about this. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. I'm going to be looking for some founding members. This is going to just blow this whole thing up. It's going to allow me to be more accessible to you, which is so thrilling to me. I've done coaching, and a lot of you have asked me if I'm doing coaching right now. In the coaching that I do, it's energy release work and it's energy healing work, and it's very intense. And yes, I can make a lot of money at it, but it doesn't reach enough people for me. I want to have this global effect. I do. I just feel it in my blood. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my entire being that is why I was brought here. And that is why I know this information and I'm able to channel wisdom through me so that I can have a large effect. So that's what this is going to do. I can't wait. Just a couple of weeks, you're all going to hear about it. I may even reach out to some specific people. And if you want to create something with me, if you want to work with me, email me now, livelifegolden@gmail.com. And I'll put you on the team of founding members. It's not going to be really expensive. That's the beautiful thing about this. It's not going to be crazy. Like, I had to charge people thousands of dollars to work with me every month because it's so much work. But this will actually create access and it'll just be flipping amazing. I'm so excited about it. So that's what happens when you get out of this stuck energy. Listen, people, I've been in this stuckness for a while. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I create an effect? I created a business with somebody else that it just didn't catch, right? It didn't catch fire. It was starting to catch fire. And then there were all these issues that kept telling me that it wasn't the right thing. And finally, when I stepped into my own power and I stepped into this show, now things are starting to unfold in the coolest way. So you really have to watch the energy. If the energy is stuck and stagnant and you're not getting anywhere, like you're just spinning your wheels, it's time to stop. And it's time to start activating energy by writing down what you want. God, if I can't say this freaking enough to you people, write down what you want. I did it last week, like days ago I did it. And here I sit today, like on fire for what's happening. So write down what you want, get clarity of focus, get those feelings amped up. What does it feel like to be doing what you love? What does it feel like to be excited and passionate about life again, to have this life force being called through you in such a significant way so that you can do what's been listen, if your heart is calling you to something, and it has been for a long, long time, there is a freaking reason. There is a reason why my heart would not stop calling me to California. Logically, it made no sense. Logically, it made no sense for us to go to California. Our life was in Connecticut. It was everything we had ever known. My husband had potential for big business there. He was doing well again. California, there is no end to the business he can do here. There's such an abundance of people and such an abundance of work that there is no such thing as a slow period here. We also don't have the weather that Connecticut has. So like in winter, he would have to do things that he didn't really want to do when it was freezing out. And we don't have that here. So yes, his business is doing really, really well here, way more abundance here than we ever created there. So that was that heart calling. And it was the hugest leap of faith we've ever made, but the best thing we ever did. We both are in love with our life here. So what you believe is what you create, the thoughts, the beliefs, the feelings. When you have stuck and stagnant energy, so this is a little quantum physics for you. When you have a thought, a feeling, right? A thought always conducts a feeling unless you can stop it in the beginning, unless you can say, I don't have to think about that right now. That thought conducts a feeling. That feeling is created from a belief, right? That's the track. When you do that, what happens is it all comes out into a wave, a quantum wave of energy. That's what this wave is all about in my book. And if you haven't read Quantum Speak, what the hell, people? Read it. It's so good. It's our story about that huge leap of faith that we made, and it breaks down exactly how to do it. So this wave of energy, which was like so miraculous, I found this on Amazon for like $12, and it's the cover of my book. What? I was in the middle of a meditation. I was like, oh, I need to order that backdrop. And boom, there it was. I didn't even have to pay to have it put on a thing. Love it. Comes out into waves, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, as you conduct, as you create, as you keep thinking, as you keep believing, as you keep feeling. This wave actually breaks down into particles and becomes physical matter. So the reason why most of your stuff doesn't manifest is because you think about something, you have a feeling, you get a little excited, and then your mind talks you out of it because you've got these beliefs underneath that say, oh no, I'm not good enough for that. I can't do that. I have a fear of being seen. I can't do that because of this, right? Like how many times do we have these amazing ideas and we get really excited about it and then our mind talks us out of it? And that's why I'm a huge advocate of meditation, because it's going to help you to create that space between your mind and your heart, your intuition, that truth of who you are, so that you can look at the mind and say, I know how to create. You're ridiculous. I know how to create. So I know that when I put forth this energy, it's going to break down into particles and become matter. And then before I know it, boom, I'm living the life that I most desired. I'm living the life that I kept myself away from for so long. Remember, it took me 4 years to get to California, like to the point where one summer threw out all of our winter clothes because I was like, oh, I'm acting as if. And then the next year we had to buy new clothes. Yeah. Because it wasn't the right timing yet. It wasn't the right timing. I was trying to force the universe to deliver me something, and things needed to line up. Things needed to happen. So the energy will always tell you when it's time. You will know. We talk about, in my book, Quantum Speak, I talk about nails in the coffin. So when you're in a situation, a job, and you don't want to be there anymore, it will just get worse and worse. A lot of people lose their job, right? Like their job just lays them off or whatever. And it's like the biggest blessing. Have you ever talked to anybody about that who loses their job and they go, it was the biggest blessing. Like now I'm doing this and I love it and I hated that job. So look at that and look at ways in which you are keeping yourself stuck because you're not asking the right questions, because you're coming home from work believing you're exhausted and you have no energy for anything else, and you're plopping in front of the TV and you're eating ice cream and you're drinking alcohol and you're not putting yourself in a position of creation. None of that is creation. That TV will suck your brain cells out. And I love TV, people. When I love TV, I love TV at the end of the day when I feel like everything is done and I just need to just shut everything off. That's when I love TV, and it's totally okay. But if you're doing it for 3, 4, 5 hours a day, not so good. Not so good. In fact, during COVID, there was one day I was trying to give myself some like space, like everybody else was, and like stay in my sweatpants for a little while and just relax and not go anywhere. And I like people a lot. I'm like one of those really social people that loves people. So it was challenging for me. So like one day I would try to watch Netflix all day and just watch movies, and I would just feel like crap, like low vibration, no energy, super low. So if that's what you're doing, that could be why, you're not feeling a lot of life force, because you're not allowing yourself to be in a different conduction of energy. Okay. So your stagnant energy, feelings of stuckness, confusion. Confusion's like one of the biggest things I think in the stuck energy. And I will say, just kind of coming out of that myself, feeling that confusion of like, I don't know what to do and I don't know what's next. And over the course of the last few years, I've created a lot of things. I've created a lot of programs. I've coached a lot of people and I've done a lot of wonderful things, but it never fulfilled what I feel like I'm about to do right now. So if you're in that feeling of confusion, you have to start asking those questions, because that's going to clear up the confusion, and start asking the questions. And you don't have to answer these questions. It's actually kind of better if you don't, because if you start answering those questions, you're going to be in the how, and you're going to be in the kind of desperate energy. Unless you feel excited about it, you don't have to figure it out. Like, you don't need to figure the whole thing out. You just have to take the steps forward to start activating the energy in the universal forces. So asking yourself, what can I do right now during your meditation? What can I do to amp this up? What can I do to get excited about it? What can I do to create another income stream? And then just let it go. And then watch as the ideas pop in. I wrote that thing down a couple of days ago, having no idea that this is how it was going to manifest. And I let it go. After I wrote it down, I let it go. I asked a few people if they knew anyone, and that didn't feel like it was going anywhere. So I just let it go. And boom, today it shows up. You looking at your past. So this could be some of the stuff that I was dealing with too. It was some of the stuff I was dealing with in the past. Like, oh, I've tried before. I've done things and I've created income streams for sure, but nothing's been significant. So I'm kind of a loser, right? Can you believe that? Yeah, I think that sometimes. Yeah, not so much lately, because I'm doing what I feel passionate about. So I feel very fulfilled about that. And I know there's more to come. But before, creating businesses with other people and stuff, I could feel, depending on there was some businesses that did really well and I've created income like every month and it's been wonderful. And then there's others that would just, the energy was stagnant. So you got to pull away from those things that aren't working for you and leave the past in the past, because the past is just a construct of what you were thinking yesterday. The past is just a construct. Your financial condition is just a construct of what you've been vibrating up until now. Right now, you can change it as soon as right now by tuning yourself into abundance, by looking at looking at why. Why do I want to create this? Why do I want this feeling of freedom? What does abundance feel like? Activating all those feelings. The feeling is the manifestation. This is the part that really trips people up, that they don't understand, because a lot of people live in this experience of, I'll be happy when, or I'll be happy if, I'll finally feel relief when this is over. And when you put yourself in that position, you are not in the frequency of creating, you're actually in stagnation. So what would it feel like if I was there? That's identity creation. What would it feel like if I was smart, healthy, and fit? What would I do? How would I get up every day? How would I conduct my energy? Wouldn't I be more active? Asking yourself those questions to get yourself out of that wishing and hoping and lackful energy. Wishing, hoping, and wanting is all lackful energy. It is all energy that will keep you stuck. It is all energy that is separating you from what you want to create. And it's energy that actually, part of it is good. Okay, let me back up a little bit, because part of it is good because it's desire. And desire is always good. Desire always has energy. But it's when that desire turns into misery. That's when you stop conducting energy towards it. So you got to drop it. If you're too miserable about it and you feel like there's no way, you got to drop it for a little while. and then watch as the energy conducts so that the universe gets invited in. You could just throw your hands up and be like, okay, I've done this. I've tried. I've worked on the house. I've worked through desperate energy. I don't know what to do anymore. Universe, angels, non-physical energies, I'm inviting you in to help me now. And then watch what happens, because it works. I'm telling you, this freaking works. Okay. A lot of people have beliefs about being too old. And I like to say this again, and I know I've said it in other shows, but the truth is, we're never too old. We are never too old. Goodness, we are not too old. As long as we have breath in our body, we have the ability to create. That is the beautiful thing about our living experience, is that we always have the energy to create. We always have the expression of source coming through us. And source wants to be expressed through us. That's what those heart desires are. They are. I think it's so interesting when people say, well, if it's God's will, and it's like, what does that even mean? It's like the desire is the desire, and it doesn't come out of nowhere. There's reasons for it. We are all individual sovereign beings with this expression coming through us, and we all have the ability to create. All of us. And everything that you are wanting and everything that you desire, there is nothing to be ashamed of about it. There is nothing to feel bad about it. It is part of your human condition. We are in a physical experience with lots of physical things to manifest, and it's okay to want them. It's okay. You're not being selfish. You're not being greedy, okay? Just drop those things, because those will also keep you from creating. It was interesting. This just popped up too. And this is super important. I was in a conversation the other day, and this person I was talking to actually made a comment about wealthy people and how awful they are, how awful they can be, and how demanding they can be, and how disrespectful they can be. And I was like, oh, lordy, that is not a great way to create a good relationship with someone who has created abundance. It is not a good way to be surrounded by abundance if you believe that wealthy people are evil. If you believe that the wealthy people are what's wrong with this world. If you want to create wealth for yourself, you can't believe that. That's split energy. Oh, well, if I had money, I wouldn't act like that. And it's like, no, all people can be assholes, right? I know a lot of people that don't have money that are total jerks. So come on, let's just stop labeling that way. That's conducting an energy that is not creating opportunities and wonderful experiences for us that can lead us to wealth and abundance. It's okay. You can be wealthy and be amazing and beautiful and sweet. You can, I promise. Your ship has sailed. That's another one that makes people feel very stuck. Like, if you missed out on an opportunity in your life, oh, here's a really good story. And I don't really have, maybe I have a happy ending for this. I don't know. I don't really know this guy too well, but he worked with my husband, and he was the drummer for Gwen Stefani before she created No Doubt. And they were going on tour, and he didn't go. And now he's a foreman carpenter, not making a ton of money. But hey, he's got a beautiful family, and I'm sure he loves his family. But I know just from speaking with him and speaking with my husband about him that he had a ton of regret, and like that ship had sailed, and that he would never live his dream, because that was his dream, right? But was it his dream? I don't know, because it didn't manifest. So is it his destiny? Will he do it later? I don't know. But the truth is, like, if you feel like your ship has sailed, I want you to start believing that there's another ship, and another ship, and another ship. That we always have opportunities to create, and we always have opportunities to manifest in our life experience like that, no matter how old we are. If we shift our thinking about things, then boom, we're going to see really cool things happen. But if you have that belief that there's nothing left for you, actually this guy on Facebook, oh man, was it sad. And he was like, there's nothing left for me. It's just paying bills and surviving. And I was like, oh man, that sucks to feel that way. It's the way he feels. So, I offer my suggestions as I do. Okay. So a strong desire for change mixed with a feeling of stuckness is actually split energy. So you have this strong desire for change, but you believe you're stuck. You're actually going to keep yourself in the same place. So you have to shift even just a little bit. Start asking those questions. Start going into meditation. Start journaling some intention. Creating intention. Their intention. It works so well. How do you get out of being stuck? Here it is. Ready? God, 40 minutes it took me to get here. Sorry, people. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sharing whatever's coming through me. So, okay, you got to open up your field. So we have this energetic field all around us. It's like 3 to 4 feet. There's this energetic field, and everything that comes into our field is because of the energy that we're conducting. So if you've got a really cranky cashier and you meet her with crankiness, then that's actually what you were vibrating at. If you have, colds, spilled coffee, flat tires, all of those things are put in place to show you where you're vibrating at. If you have a reaction to those things that is not of frustration or anger, and you're just like, it happens. We actually had this conversation about a flat tire the other day. The last time I got a flat tire, I was with my father-in-law and I ran something over. And my belief is that I will never have to change a tire. That's just my belief. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. And I always have people, angels, that show up to help me. So I called my husband and I told him what happened, and I pulled into a parking spot, and 5 minutes later he came and he actually fixed it and took it down to the place. He left me a car. He left me the car that he was in, took it to the place, got the tire fixed, and it was no big deal. So I didn't have a lot of like, oh my God, this is horrible, and why do bad things always happen to me? I didn't have any of that. I was just like, oh, flat tire, and I do have a knight in shining armor, but it hasn't always been my husband. It's been other people. I actually got a flat tire with my grandfather once on Route 8 in Connecticut. And if you've ever been on Route 8, I was actually in the median. So like getting on the highway and the highway, I was in between and squashed in there like, holy crap. And this Marine pulled over and totally changed my tire. So it happens because I believe it will, right? So open up your field by proclaiming and deciding that you are done being stuck. I'm done being stuck. I am done living this existence that is less than. I am done living in this energy of believing I'm stuck, and I am ready to move forward. Proclaim it. Write it on a card next to your bed. I know I've shared this one before, but I love it and I still read it all the time. I freely and easily release the old. I joyously welcome the new. And I have this right next to my bed, sitting up. Every time I see it, I say it. Before I go to sleep, I say it. Proclaim to the universe, I am ready. I am ready. That is such a cool thing to say. I am ready. I feel so good about moving forward. I am joyously welcoming the new. Gain clarity by getting quiet and asking within, what would bring me passion and excitement? What would I really love to do? Many, many times I've found that it has to do with something you did when you were little. And for me, it was writing. I loved writing, and I used to pretend I was a teacher all the time. Didn't manifest like you would think, but this is kind of the same thing. So what did you do as a kid that you really, really loved? Write down and feel into your vision. So you might not have the exact vision for what you want to create. You may not know exactly what that looks like or know exactly what that feels like, and you don't have to. The idea is to open up your field, put yourself in zero state awareness. Zero state awareness is where everything is created from. So you clear this. You focus on right here and you imagine that it's like a blank slate or a blackboard, and just erase your thoughts. And as the thoughts come, you let them go. When you open up that space, you actually open up your channel to wisdom, and you allow the energies to actually start downloading you information, downloading you visions, downloading you feelings. If you are the type of person who doesn't have a lot of imagery skills, you can build them. I truly believe you can build them. And if you need help, there's tons of stuff on YouTube. My Facebook group, M21 Revolution, we've got an up-level challenge, people, that is incredible. People are seriously up leveling, and you can join that at any time. It was a donation based challenge, and you can go back and start the challenge from right now. But there's tons of guided meditations in there to get you activating what you're looking to create. Write down and feel into your vision when you are writing. I am thankful and grateful for, and write it down. I am thankful and grateful for my incredible income. I am thankful and grateful for the abundance I've created. I am thankful and grateful for doing the things that I love, for understanding how to create, to be a creator, to be the best creator possible. Start expecting and getting excited about these changes by noticing how different you feel and noticing signs. Signs will come in many different ways. I see numbers a lot. I know a lot of people do see numbers. Certain numbers mean certain things to me. Animals have totems. Every animal, if you got an animal that just won't leave you alone, or a bug, and it's like really making itself obvious to you, I always feel like those are signs from the universe. In fact, when we first moved here, and there was those feelings of, did we do the right thing? And are we going to be supported in this? And are we going to be able to pay our rent? And all those feelings. And I went for a walk with my daughters in this bike trail that was behind our apartment complex. And this was summer and they hadn't started school yet. So the energy was dense and it was hard, and they were missing their friends. And, we were like, did we do the right thing and everything? And we saw 19 rabbits that day. Now, at the time, I didn't realize there were so many rabbits in California, but I have not seen this many rabbits since in one experience and one walk. 19 rabbits. Well, guess what rabbits mean? When you look up the animal totem, the spiritual meaning of rabbits is home. And I was like, oh, we're home. We're home. And it does. It's home. We feel very at home here. So how cool is that? So animal totems, signs, my friend Diane is always sending me, pictures of signs that she sees, and like, this is a sign. And, you'll see things on Instagram or Facebook, and it's like, yeah, confirmation about the way I'm feeling. The outside energy will always show you what you have going on within. Start asking, what can I do? What can I do? Do you want to write a book? What do you think you have to do to write a book? You guys sit your ass down and write. That's what I did when I wrote my book. I wrote Quantum Speak in 6 days. Just came through me because I made the strong intention. If I was an author, what would I do? I would get up every day and I would write, and nothing would get in my way. So what can I do? Spending just 15 minutes either researching, opening up a channel, opening up the activation of energy, and showing the universe that you are serious about this vision pays off big time, big time. 15 minutes a day. Sometimes that 15 minutes a day will turn into a lot more, because once you get started, there is a thing with our creativity where our mind will try to talk. So our mind tries to talk us out of creating. Our mind tries to talk us out of growing, because our mind always wants to keep us safe. And by keeping us the same, it keeps us safe. So if you override the mind and say, you know what, I'm not going to turn the TV on right now. I'm going to spend 15 minutes. It could be visualizing. I'm going to visualize what I want and feel into what I want for 15 minutes. Energetic conduction is it's like 1,000 hours of physical labor. Energetic conduction. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to call this person. I'm going to look for people who are doing what I want to do. I'm going to write down what I'm looking to create, and I'm going to get excited about it. I'm going to do some mantras. I'm releasing the old. I'm joyously welcoming the new. What is it that you can do for that 15 minutes that will start to activate the energy, create some excitement, feel some life force, and start to help you to feel better? Because when we're not doing what we want to do, I remember before I started working out, I felt like I was on this roller coaster ride, and I felt like I was always trying programs, and I felt like I didn't know what to do. And once I let all of that go, it's like all of this stuff came in, and it's morphed over time. It started with a program. It started with a home gym. I started working out in my house, and that was it was a great solution to what I wanted to do at that point in my life. And then, as this last year unfolded, I realized I need people, I need fun, I need music, I need joy. And so then this unfolded. So it will morph over time, and it may not always look the same, but whatever it looks like right now for you is the path to next, the path to more. And that's the path to calling more life force through you. Awesome. And then last, good question. Is there a leap of faith you need to make? Because those leaps of faith, they're not easy. But what I will say about leaps of faith is if you have enough evidence, if you have enough nails in the coffin, and you don't do anything about your situation, eventually the universe will pull it out. It'll just pull it away from you because you're not doing what it takes to change. Eventually, that change will be created for you. So if you don't do anything right now, that's totally fine. It's okay. And I don't say that to make you like scared that shit's going to go down. But if you have a situation where the nails in the coffin are getting the nails in the coffin, it's like, this is it. I don't want to do this anymore. And you know it, and you know it over and over and over again. You'll know, like the energy will tell you that it's time to leap, and you will always be supported in that. You will always be supported in answering the call of your heart. And as hard as it may be, because I will tell you what we did, it's not for the weak. And there were a lot of times that we were scared, and a lot of times where we had to overcome our mind and we had to stand in our power again. But we are so strong and so faithful because of that journey just led us to more life force, to more creating, to more enjoyment, to a life that is freaking fantastic. Like that's what's on the other side of that job you're holding on to, or that house you're holding on to, or all those things that are holding you down and making you feel heavy. What's on the other side is a capacity for joy that you can't even imagine. And I'm living proof, like many times over, living proof. Okay, that's my show today. That's about stuck energy. If you are feeling stuck and you want a little help shifting, please let me know. I have this great group on Facebook called Live Life Goldyn, and that's just where I put all my inspirational posts. But that would be a great place if you wanted to post a question about stuckness or your situation. And this is not about complaining. This is about shifting the energy. So you're doing it from the intention of, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. What's the best way to conduct the energy? So I am here for you. You can also reach me at livelifegolden@gmail. And I also have a website, livelifegolden.com, where my books are Quantum Speak for Parents. And you can follow me on Instagram at livelifegolden as well. And again, if you really want to work with me, we can create some fantastic, amazing, unbelievable shifts together. And I'm going to be looking for a few people to do that with. And soon enough, lots of people. So, woo, so exciting. I love you all. Peace out.